عشق مثل تو قصه ها نیست، حتی شبیه افسانه ها نیست. ما هم
And you want to learn Persian, right? Then you should start by watching this beautiful series called Shahrazad. Online on YouTube. It's now finally available. Of course, you won't understand a lot, but you will hear Persian poetry recited by famous Iranian actors.
دوستان به که ز وی یاد کنند، دل بی دوست دلی غمگین است.
And you will get to know how people speak in real life, okay? So even if you're a beginner, then it makes sense just to start watching this right now because it will keep you inspired and motivated to keep on learning. It has 28 episodes and 3 seasons, I believe. So 3 times 28 episodes, which is really a gold mine. Now that will make you continue then using resource number 2, complete Persian. It says it will teach you the language up to B2, all the way from the alphabet up to B2, but that's definitely not true. But it gets you to about A2, even if you learn all the words in the book, which nobody does. Now, the dialogues in the book are kind of the same as in every textbook.
Mariam and Dariush use the verb to have to tell us more about themselves, their family, and friends.
So there's just 2 people speaking, and they are using half natural, half artificial language because, of course, the writer wants you to pick up certain words from these dialogues, right? So nothing new is there, nothing special there. But the book does have very high quality audio.
من یک خواهر و یک برادر دارم.
And I therefore recommend you start by using this book, just reading through the introductory texts and the first 2 chapters, which explain the alphabet and the numbers, and gives you a great overview of the Persian language in terms of grammar and pronunciation. So, of course, everything that you hear or see, try to pronounce it out loud because that really helps you. Don't forget that learning a language is also a physical thing, so you need to do stuff the whole time. And I recommend then after you continue reading until chapter 4, where you will find the first true dialogue. So you listen to the audio, you read along, see if you get something. Circle the Persian word, circle the English word, try to find out what matches. So then you'll know where the nouns are, where the verbs are, if there's an article or not, and things like that. Do that until you have a fair understanding of what's going on in this dialogue, and then listen and read it again. You need to repeat this process until you think, I think I get it, right? Don't go for 100%. Just for this feeling, it's just a feeling of, I get it. Okay. Once you have that, continue to the next dialogue and just do the whole book like that. Make sure that you only do a grammar exercise if you really feel that you want it or that you need it. So you don't need to do any grammar exercises. Reading and listening is going to make you fluent. Every time that you finish a chapter, download the audio onto your phone and listen to it many, many times. Just continue to that until the end, and that will give you a fair idea about how Persian actually works. Maybe you think now, how can I start reading if I don't even know the alphabet? Well, that's a good question. You can use this book also for the alphabet because it teaches you how to read and write the letters. But if you want to do something separately just for the alphabet, you can use this resource. It's a big, spacious book that teaches you wonderfully how to read and write Persian, even in the right order of the movement of your hands. The dialogues that the book uses are a bit too difficult for beginners. I found that out the hard way, unfortunately. So therefore, I do advise you to only use this book for learning the alphabet. Here are some simple ideas to keep practicing. Write down the names of your family members, the names of your friends in your new learned Persian alphabet. Make sure you write the names of cities and things like that. Use Google Bing, the translator, to check your spelling, right? If you don't have an Iranian person around to check it. If you do have an Iranian person, make sure you can text with them. You can download the Persian keyboard onto WhatsApp. Chatting is a super useful way of using the alphabet into practice. If you've done this book and you know the alphabet, you can continue to do more reading and listening. And for that, you can use these stories. It's thematic vocabulary and short stories. And this book has 159 pages of vocabulary lists. I have no idea what to do with them, to be honest. But it also contains 8 kind of boring stories that are very, very good for beginners. They use the same vocabulary that you will also find in this complete Persian textbook. The stories have a perfect English translation and a great audio. You can just read along and do the same as you did with the dialogues in the complete Persian textbook. But because you've also read the grammar explanations in that book, you don't need any grammar explanations right now. You can just continue reading and listening. And another great, great, great way to listen is using this Podgap. Podgap, you can listen to it on Spotify, and they have textbook-like dialogues, interviews with Persian people. They have historical talks, cultural speeches of professors, all in very, very high quality audio.
In today's lesson, you will learn these 4 imperatives in Persian.
سلام.
And the name of each episode also contains the level. So it says beginner, intermediate, or advanced. They also have a Patreon page, and there you can download the transcription of all these podcasts. So if you want to do that, you just read along while listening to the podcasts into the transcription. You know, you translate whatever you need to translate, and then you listen to the podcast again. No video containing the best resources of any language is complete without mentioning Link. It's my favorite language learning app. And the mini stories on this platform are written carefully for you to naturally acquire the most frequently used vocabulary of the Farsi language or any other language. And what's great for Farsi, it has 30 stories in formal Persian and 30 stories in colloquial Persian. And as you may or may not know, the difference between the formal and informal language in Persian is quite big. And therefore, it makes sense to read in both the spoken version and the written version of Farsi. And this platform has got you covered. You do have to pay for the app, but it's definitely worth it. And you read the stories while listening to the audio, same thing. But now you can translate the words in the app. It uses the translators that already exists out there. So for example, Bing, Google, all of that. DeepL doesn't have Persian though. And the word count in the right corner shows you which words you passively already understand. So it shows you the words that you haven't clicked on, and that means you've read those words without needing a translation, right? Which says that you probably know it. This is a great resource. Also, all the words that you have clicked on, you can revise them later using spaced repetition techniques, using games. So let's say that you started out with Farsi for Beginners, reading the alphabet. Then you went through the whole book, Complete Persian. Then you've read the mini stories on Link. Then you've listened to all the beginner episodes on the podcast, and you've read through the transcription. And you've read the Persian short stories. And you have a good idea about Persian now. You want to speak, right? So then please go to the website www.italki.com and choose your own Persian teacher. But you don't have to, okay? You can also practice speaking when you already have an understanding of a B-level student. That's completely fine. But most people, enjoy speaking, and that's their main goal, like it is my goal. Finding a teacher on italki is a great idea. It's very, very cheap. You can plan the lessons whenever you want, and you just make sure that your teacher has a Google Doc. In this Google Doc, he or she writes down whatever you're talking about, the mistakes you are making. And later in this Google Doc, of course, you can study the material that you've used during your class. If you have a Link account, you can even download these Google Docs as a link, as a lesson into Link, and use the app to read it. You can also ask your teacher to generate an audio, right? So then you can even listen to your lesson again. And altogether, I think these books will give you the opportunity to learn Persian until a high beginner level or low intermediate level. But I also listed in the description many other resources. One of those resources is the YouTube channel Learning Persian with Majid. I used it personally in the beginning to learn lots of words and to understand a little bit more about the Persian grammar structure.
سلام، من مجید هستم. قبلا در مورد how much چقدر و how many چند 2 تا درس داشتم.
But I used it only in the beginning, the first 2-3 months. And after that, I didn't find it useful anymore. He does an amazing job. He's a great teacher. He has a very clear method. Let me finish by giving you some speaking advice and some extra books to use. Okay, speaking advice. If you want to practice speaking without talking to someone, okay, then please try the following. 1. Speak and record your voice, then listen to it. If you read out loud a text that you have the audio of, you can compare your voice to the audio. Then 2, exchange voice notes with someone. Like that, you have the time to listen multiple times to what somebody is saying, to somebody's message, and you can think about your message before you send it. 3, read a text out loud. Works on your pronunciation muscles, right? Your throat, your tongue, your lips. Don't forget that learning a language is something physical. Number 4, repeat an audio track. Whenever you hear something, please repeat it, okay? I tell this my students, my Dutch students, I'm a Dutch teacher, I tell them all the time, repeat. Good students repeat all the time. It's called shadowing. when you're repeating a whole audio track. So you can also Google that. And also many language YouTubers have videos on shadowing. Then extra books you could use and a little bit of information about those. First, colloquial Persian. As you can see, it's a very ugly book, but it has nice exercises, nice dialogues. The audio has good quality. It's very annoying that the speaker speaks English at the beginning of every audio track. So when you listen to them many times, you will hear the same English phrases also many times, and that's just very annoying. Then number 2, Persian in use. This book is meant for classroom students, so it has no answer key and it has no English translation of the dialogues or the texts. That's why I didn't recommend it at first. Personally didn't mind too much. I like self-studying. I'm an experienced self-learner. Also, the audio is a little bit annoying. It's recorded not in a studio, so you can hear things in the background. Some tracks are louder than other tracks. And in a few audios, you can also hear the speaker go, which is super annoying. Also, the book tells you it gets you up to B1, but it's not going to do that. It will get you up to A2, just like all the other books. You can try out 2 apps. You can check them out. One is monthly. It will just teach you a few words. You can play with it whenever you feel like it, but don't think it will teach you a language. And the same goes for the app Drops. I like them both. They do cost money, but good luck trying them out. And don't make the mistake to do only that. That's not going to help, okay? So you've watched this whole video and now you're okay. What do I gotta do now? What do I gotta do now? Well, number 1, teach yourself the alphabet and the numbers using whatever resource you can find. Resource from this video, or you can just Google or use Wikipedia. Just copy the letters, write down as many things as you can, and then start reading. Then buy the book and use it exactly like I said. And do not use another resource, okay? Do not use any other resource until you're done with this book, except for watching Shahrazad online. Now, finishing does not mean that you have to know all the words in the book, that you have to do all the grammar exercises, not at all. You're a self-learner, so you can do whatever you want with the book. Just make sure you understand the dialogues. You'll need more than one book to get to the A2 level, don't forget that. Then 3, get a link subscription, read all the mini stories, download the audio, listen to them the whole time, watch Shahrazad. And 5, do something every day and track what you do. So write down somewhere how many minutes, how many hours you're spending on this beautiful language. Write down what you're exactly doing in a short journal. And then remember, it will take you 1,100 hours as an English speaker to get to the B2 level. So it will take you about 550 hours to get to an A2 level. So then you are no longer a beginner after that, after 550 hours. And of course, subscribe to my channel because then you can see how I'm doing it and you can copy me. Khodafez.